Hello and welcome to another episode of Transcontinental Overload. I'm Stephanie, your host. Finally, no longer in Austin, Texas, but Madison, New Jersey. If the sound is somewhat echoey, that will be because I haven't set my office up properly yet, but I was so keen to get back to recording that, forgive me, I will be playing around with the sound and hope that it's okay to listen to. For today, I don't have a new guest. It's just been, the last few weeks and months have just been too crazy, and my mind just hasn't been focused enough, and I just felt like I wanted to get back to recording, check in with you, and give you a little update on what's been going on, rather than trying to get new guests. And for that, I want to have everything set up properly. So I have a few people in mind that I would love to have on this show, and I'll be reaching out to them over the next few weeks. If you are interested or know someone who'd be interested in being a guest on my show, then please get in touch. I would love to hear from you. In order to do that, you can either find me on Facebook, Transcontinental Overload, on Instagram, where I'm Overloaded Steph, or directly on my website, www.transcontinentaloverload.com. And of course, I'll put all the links in the show notes. So for today's episode, I thought I could just read you my latest blog post. It's the only piece of work I've managed to produce in the last 2.5 weeks, other than unpacking boxes. And there we go. There you can hear my cat. As I said, my office isn't set up properly, so I've got animals running around. It's just been a really strange time those last few weeks, because moving is such a personal thing, and you kind of in your own world, and with all that stuff going on, where you try and find your new self and make sense of it all, and then everything else is going on in the world with Russia and Ukraine at the moment, and it's really difficult to focus anyway. For me, sitting down and writing is always something that I love to do when I feel like I'm falling apart. And so, I'm with moving and reading the news, and, I'm unpacking boxes and thinking about curtains. And at the same time, Ukraine is being destroyed. And then I listen to the news while I'm doing that. And then it feels so surreal. So yes, sitting down and focusing my mind on one thing and one thing only is always helpful. And so I thought I'd share this blog post with you. You've got the choice. You can either just read it on my website, or you can stay right where you are and listen to it. First impressions. We finally made it to New Jersey. What an odyssey it's been, and I somehow can't quite believe it's only been 2 weeks since we arrived here. It took us 3 days to drive up from Austin, and by we, I mean my husband, my dog, and myself, with overnight stops in Little Rock, Arkansas, and somewhere in deepest, darkest Virginia. We didn't really stop much along the way, except for hot chicken at Hattie B's in Nashville, Tennessee. That had to be done. We were just absolutely exhausted by the last few weeks of packing and saying goodbye. The moving truck arrived the very next morning, so we didn't really get a break at all, but instead got stuck right into unpacking. And then that night, I hopped on a plane back to Austin to pick up the teenager and the cats, promptly spending another 2 days cleaning and sorting stuff out at my old home. After a pretty hands-on flight back north, with one cat totally at ease and the other breaking free of his carrier within 5 minutes of being on the plane, and subsequently digging his claws into our laps for the whole 3.5 hours, we finally arrived at our new home, completely exhausted, but also excited. The moment when my scaredy cat spotted our dog and leapt out of my arms right into his made all the stress worthwhile. I swear I heard him whoop with joy. I'm still stuck in this strange in-between world where my head can't quite keep up with my physical body. Or maybe it's the other way round. I try to squeeze in some yoga practice every day in order to build that connection back up. Emotions such as an overwhelming sense of loneliness, longing for the familiar, a floodgate of memories, but also physical sensations such as hunger or tiredness feel surreal and not recognizable as such. I know this state of being so well, having experienced it multiple times now, so while it's not a great state to be in, I know it's only temporary, and the only way out of it is heading straight through it. Sit with the grief, allow it to vent, keep myself busy but not too busy. Allow time for just letting my thoughts meander. Open myself up to new impressions. Do yoga. I have to remind myself to eat since my stomach is still in knots and I'm ready for bed by about 8 p.m, which might have something to do with the fact that it's winter and the sun sets really early, reminiscent of Europe. Strangely, the fact that we're another hour closer to Europe creates a huge sense of proximity, even though it really is just an hour less time difference. It means that finally I can communicate with friends and family over there in the afternoon, and they're not asleep. It's such a treat, as making time for people during our usually pretty busy mornings has never been easy. But it's also the surroundings. Vegetation, street names, architecture, everything is much more European and completely different to both Texas and California. In fact, the other day when driving through some back roads, I felt like I was driving around my old village lanes in England, and for a very short moment I had a sense that I should be driving on the left side of the road. It really jolted me, but luckily I didn't give in to this impulse. Walking my dog the other morning, I smiled at the snowdrops and crocuses popping out from the still wintry brown grass, perfectly in sync with what's happening in England and Germany at this time of year. Of course, that means that they'll probably get covered in snow again before spring actually arrives. So far, people have been extremely friendly. A few neighbours have introduced themselves, and we might be causing a bit of a stir with a car bearing a Texan license plate, a purple-haired teenager, and a German clad in cowboy boots and speaking with a British accent. The question, "Where are you from?" is getting ever more complicated. I'm so grateful for the friendliness, though, having given up our southern surroundings. In fact, when I got some prescriptions sent through from our doctor in Austin, since we haven't registered with a new one here yet, the pharmacist asked what made us move up here, and then said he hoped that New Jersey had welcomed us nicely, even though he knew it could never keep up with Texan hospitality. Aw, shucks. Things I've accomplished so far. Unpacked about 80% of our boxes. Go me. Made the house look really cozy already. Sourced my local supermarkets and the nearest Target, etc. Connected with 2 local women and met for coffee. Had a dinner party with friends we hadn't seen for quite a while and who now live within a 40-minute drive. Spent an afternoon in New York City and signed up as a MoMA member. Found a lovely dog and cat sitter who lives just around the corner. The pets are already fans. Had my hair done. What is it with hair reacting so dramatically to new surroundings? Is it the water? Apparently it's really, really hard here and my shampoo just does not work. Anyway, it was such a mess that I had to sort it out ASAP, and actually chatting with a hairdresser is a wonderful way to find out local info and gossip. Anyway, I feel quite accomplished, even if those are all very small things. Baby steps. As I type this, my mum and my niece are on a plane and heading our way from Germany. A first trip to the US in 3 years for my mum, and even longer for my niece, who's almost 14. And the last time she came to see us was in California, and she was probably only about 5 or 6. Of course, she is desperate to see all things US of A. Target, Walmart, Statue of Liberty, here we come. We are beyond excited that so many people have expressed an interest in coming to see us in our new home. which I have to say didn't happen when we lived in Austin. And it's something I really missed in our years there. Sharing a new environment with people who've known you in other places at other times is such a special experience. And it truly breaks my heart that so many important people in our lives never managed to see us in our Austin home. I would have loved to share that city and maybe shed some light on people's perception of Texas and shatter some preconceptions. Somehow it feels like a big puzzle piece that's missing in my nomadic life that I know I will never find. But I'm learning to accept that and let go. And I hope that exploring New Jersey and New York with friends will make up for it in some way. So that was it for today's episode of Transcontinental Overload. If you're still here, thank you for listening. I'm hoping to have some new content up here soon. In the meantime, keep an eye out for my blog. I might just be writing. It might take a while until I get my recordings set up. If you, as I said before, if you are interested in being a guest, if you know someone who would be good, let me know. And in the meantime, stay safe out there. I'm off to shovel some snow. See you next time.